All right, Everyday Hustlers, got a very exciting episode for you. We actually brought out Danny from D Squared Media, who's the owner of the company who's sponsoring the podcast, to tell you guys a little bit about how he can help you elevate your brand and what he does on a day-to-day basis. Christian talked to us about La Frontera, which is his new merch company, and how you can pick up his t-shirts and what his brand is all about. We talked about knowing your value. We talked about financial insecurities and compromising your morals. Let's dive into the show.
Welcome to the Everyday Hustle Show, where we're figuring it out together over time. On the show, we'll be giving you the tools you need to take your career and life to the next level. So get ready for interviews and topics that will give you a competitive edge against the shuffle we call life. Sure, we might get into some heavy topics, but we also like to laugh and have a fun time too. Are you ready for the show? Here's your hosts, Jesse, Andrew, and Christian.
All right, welcome everyone to the 33rd recorded episode of the Everyday Hustle Show.
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you in part, again, by D Squared Media. D Squared Media is specializing in creative design, internet marketing, web design, and small business branding. Tonight we have a special episode because we actually brought out Danny from D Squared Media to share a little bit about the company and what they have to offer. But just so everyone who listens to the podcast knows, you can take advantage of their services. Check them out at dsquaredmedia.net. If you need business cards, graphic design, logo design, anything that has to do with branding your business, they can help you out with. And anyone who checks them out through the podcast is going to get 10% off their order. So check them out, or you can email us or message us if you need their contact information. And also, real quick, before we dive into the show, if you guys want to support the show, and if you're into the hustle and you support the cause, head over to my website where you can pick up a t-shirt, a hat, a mug.
Ooh.
What else do we have available, Christian?
Yo, we got it all. We got pens, we got shoes, we got blankets. Nah, I'm just kidding. But we got some cool stuff.
Yeah, I think shirts, hats, and mugs is what we got up there right now. We got an Everyday Hustle tie-dye drop freaking.
We got tires.
Yeah, but listen, what we're trying to accomplish by selling the t-shirts and the merch is just to pay for the hosting for the podcast, essentially. Instead of coming out of pocket, we want the podcast to be able to support itself, be self-sufficient. So if you guys want to check out that, you can go to andrewnice.com/shop. I'll put the link in the description of the podcast, as well as the link for D Squared Media. So
yeah, you will.
Jesse, how you doing tonight?
I'm just a pillar of excellence today.
Wow.
Pillar of excellence. Okay.
Shining example of human success.
Wow.
All right. And Christian, what's up with you, my brother?
Not as good as Jess, but I'm doing pretty well tonight, man.
All right.
Happy, excited.
Great. And then we got Danny here. Danny, you can say hello to everyone.
What's going on, everybody?
Welcome.
All right. So yeah, Danny. So you're the owner of D Squared Media. Tell us. I just kind of went through a little bit of what you guys do, but in your own words, tell the listeners what your company does on the day-to-day.
We specialize in all digital media that focuses in, branding, website design and development, graphic design, branding for small, medium, and large-sized businesses. On the day-to-day, it's dealing with clients that have little to no understanding of what they're trying to do, who they're trying to be, and it's kind of working hand in hand with them to figure out their goals and their milestones of where they want to go. Because most people have the vision, they just don't know how to get there.
Oh.
That's cool. I think, yeah, like when you explain to someone, oh, you do graphic design, web design, this and that, that's cool. But I think what's more interesting is the vision of where you want to go with your business. I think that's very interesting, in that it's probably a very important part of business in general.
I mean, you got to think that most people have goals. They want something. And it might be monetary, it might be a goal they want to hit as a milestone in the business, or they want to grow a certain amount of times, they want to expand many different offices. It just really depends on where they're looking to go. And a lot of times when specifically startups, they come and they have little to no money, but they want to be rock stars. But but it's kind of like what I tell them is like, start small, figure out what you need. Like, a lot of times when people come to me, they want a website, they want a logo, they want business cards, they want to be on Google, they want to do paid marketing. But I'm like, whoa. Like, let's figure out what you need first, and then we'll kind of, take baby steps to get there. Because unfortunately, like, 9 times out of 10, the budget's not in place for that to happen.
Yeah.
Right.
It's expensive.
It can be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember I came to you probably 4 years ago. I don't know if you remember that. Or no, not to you. Someone that worked with you, but to your company.
Mm-hmm.
I had a clothing brand back in the day.
T-shirts.
T-shirts, yeah. And I remember I was like the same. I wanted, I had big aspirations and big like things that I wanted to do. But then once I found the budget, I was like, oh man, maybe I need to. And the guy was cool. I can't remember his name, but he was cool. He walked me through it. He's like, obviously if that's not gonna work for you, we can figure something out, or I can kind of help you, to figure out what you can do now since you don't have like the financial.
And that's the best thing is, there's a unique plan for every company that hits our doors, and it might not be us. We inform a lot of the clients that come to us to say like, look, if you're well versed in social media, I can show you the ropes of how to make a website, at least initially, till you get the financial side to be able to come and to be able to afford something a little bit more customized and stuff like that. And it's, if done right, I mean, look, nowadays you can start a e-commerce store on Facebook.
Oh yeah.
So if you have a Facebook page, you can start a shop. You link it with Stripe and you can sell products.
Yep.
And for someone, I mean, that's free. You can do that with no money. And if you are well versed in social, you post a few times and all of a sudden you can start having, some business roll in.
Oh yeah.
And that's kind of starts like the foundation.
How come we didn't know about that?
What, going off of Facebook?
Yeah.
Well, are you talking about like Facebook ads?
No.
Or just
No, you're talking about a store.
So if you go to the Facebook business page, there is an option for a shop that you can link with Stripe. I believe that's the only payment process you can do right now. And you load up your products.
Stripe or Square? Different things?
Stripe,
Two different
yeah,
things?
Different, yeah.
I think it's Stripe.
Yeah,
Could be
Stripe.
Square.
It's
I
Stripe.
guess the only downside to that is that if they ever shut you down, then you shut down. Whereas if you
What
do
are
it through
you
your
doing
domain
to get
like I
shut down?
did, then they really can't.
Yeah, but it's an opportunity. I mean, you can link one or two stuff. Your options to customization is almost nothing.
Right.
You have a product, you're selling it. You're
But you're
shipping
saying
it.
for like the customer or for the person who doesn't have like any money at all to start.
Yeah.
is what
I mean,
you're
that's
saying.
where I would start, or go to a GoDaddy or web.com web builder. They're not great, but it's a foot in the right direction.
Right.
I watched a YouTube tutorial. So the guy has a WordPress theme and then a YouTube tutorial about how to build this website, and it looked amazing, and it was like a 30-minute tutorial. So it was like anybody who has the focus and the drive and the ability to want to learn that type of thing, I feel like they can. And it's not really super challenging, but I think it's really cool what you guys do in the aspect where you can just like take it to a whole nother level, make it fully customized and all that stuff. And you said what? How do they get shut down? How would it get shut down?
If you're saying like Facebook store.
Yeah, I mean anything like that's like the risk about doing things on social media is that you don't own it.
Well, yeah, but don't. I mean,
your page,
wouldn't you have
anything
to
like
It's
that.
their
They could-
platform you're using, right?
Yeah.
say some
Yeah.
shit to piss some people off to get shut
Yeah,
down?
somebody could flag it or
I think really the key ways of getting banned on any social is, harassment.
Yeah.
You're with a shop, not sending out the product.
Yeah.
Taking the money and never shipping it.
Or if your product has like explicit
Yeah.
designs or like drug. I think that was one for like at least Instagram is, you can't like do the whole product tagging if it has like paraphernalia or
Because it's
explicit.
all social, Google, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. It's all about the user experience. So it's all about how the user will interact with that individual company, and they want the best experience for everybody and for pretty much all ages. So if something is shown as nudity or profanity or drug use or what have you, it's not good for the younger clientele or really any clientele of that matter. Not everybody wants to see that.
Right.
So I want to hit on your T-shirt thing real quick, and then I want to ask Danny some more questions about how he got started in the business and all that stuff. So you wanted to talk about just real quick your new project that you work, because we've been talking about it in some prior episodes, but you didn't want to divulge too much because you were kind of still working on it. Now it's live, so tell us about what you and AC Delgado are working on.
Yeah, so I have another clothing brand that me and Abel started up about 5-6 months ago, and it's been maybe like a year and a half, almost 2 years since the first one that I started with my cousin Alfonso. And this one is called La Frontera Supply Co, and that basically what our objective, or like why we wanted to start it, is we're both Hispanic, we're both Mexican, and Americans, obviously, but like we have Mexican lineage. And
sure,
yeah, 100%. My mom's from Zacatecas, so.
Okay.
Ooh, Zacatecas.
So
That's fun to say.
so we're both like, we both basically wanted to learn more about our heritage and essentially celebrate it, bring awareness to it. And so the whole idea is every single drop that we do is going to be focused and centered around one individual from Mexican history. So like our first one is Emiliano Zapata, and he was like a revolutionist, and he played a huge role in Mexico around like 1914, like 1910 to like 1919 when he died. But yeah, so I read a book about it. I learned way more in the past 5 months than I did my entire existence in school. So I guess like the whole idea isn't like to try and educate everybody, nothing like that. We just wanted to learn, and then also celebrate it and bring awareness to it for anyone else that wants to learn. So it's not like only for like Hispanics, not only for Mexicans, because we did get a couple like comments, like, oh, I'm not Mexican, I kind of feel weird buying it, but it's not like a for Mexican, exclude everyone else. It's literally just us celebrating the heritage, and that's it. We definitely respect everything that America's done for us, but we just want to learn more and bring awareness to.
What was it, Jesse? What was the guy's name that the first drop was about?
Emiliano Zapata.
Oh,
wow!
Yo, Jesse.
All right. So what did he do? Circa 1914? What did he do?
So he essentially,
it's like the abridged version.
Yeah. He essentially started a revolution to stop haciendas, what they call them, what we would consider corporations. They basically came in, took over the lands of all the peasants, and used it to grow crops, and that was literally like all you could do for a living out there. And he stood up to the government. He literally helped overthrow one major government, Diaz, and helped like take over two other provisional presidents.
So he was supporting small business,
Big time, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
It's different.
And there were so many like times where he basically gave up or denied getting bribed, and he was really about not
the Mexican Peter Pan. Is what
he was. Yeah,
so
he was
Friggin'
basically
the brown
basically
pan.
yeah.
Brown pan.
So it's fun.
Wait, no, Peter Pan? Is that what I was?
Yeah, Peter Pan.
I'm with.
Yeah.
Oh
brown
wait,
pan.
no, Robin Hood.
Yeah, Robin Hood, the Mexican Robin Hood.
Wait a
Shit.
minute, wait.
Shit, dude.
Peter Pan.
Peter
He wears
Pan.
tights.
It's all right.
That's all right. Nothing
All
wrong
right,
with
cool. So, how can somebody cop some merch?
that. Yeah, so they can go to www.lafronterasupply.com and check out my social media and go from there.
Yeah, I copped the shirt. It's
Yeah,
got
thank
the
you.
guy's face on the front, on the breast pocket, and then on the back it says
Tierra y Libertad,
which means
land and liberty. That was
Land
like
and liberty,
that was like
baby.
his motto. Like he was
His
literally all about land.
which
and
look,
liberty.
I mean that applies to America too.
Yeah.
Land of the free, home of the brave.
Yeah.
Same type of shit. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So I think it's really really interesting though that so somebody really said like, oh, I'm not a Mexican. I don't.
Oh yeah.
Want to buy this? Or
Well,
I don't
no,
think
they
I
didn't say
should-
I don't want to, but it was like one of Abel's friends, and he was like, I don't know if he was just like messing around and he was
Or
just
he
gonna
was-
buy a shirt anyways, but
Yeah.
he definitely was like,
Why would I rock this if I'm not?
He didn't ask why. He was just like, he basically was like, is it okay if I like wear it? Basically,
Yeah.
like, he wanted to make sure.
That's like, okay, dude. So like, if you go out to the fucking PacSun and buy a Young and Reckless shirt,
Right.
Like, or if you're not young and reckless, is it okay if you wear the
Right,
shirt?
right.
Yeah, dude. What's he trying to say? Brown is down. 'Cause
I mean,
brown
I
is
don't know
not
about all
down,
that,
dude.
but
All right, so so what sparked your interest in the graphic web design field? Like, how did you gravitate towards that?
I've been doing it since I was a kid. I was real big in the early AOL days,
Ooh.
back when AOL was,
Hey, Messenger. What was your first screen name?
Big Dizzy.
Big Dizzy.
Still, I think I still have it.
Like Dizzay.
Exactly.
That's
Ooh,
fire.
Big
Chris, what was
Dizzy.
yours?
I don't remember.
Oh, come
Oh,
on,
come
Jesse.
on, you gotta know.
I had the
I
fucking
really-
What was
best.
yours, dude?
Mine was Luke Handley, 09.
Mine was Limp Bizkit 86.
Oh man,
I love Fred Durst.
Luke
Handy?
Handley.
Oh, Han Lee.
Luke Handley, 09.
They said Luke Handy.
All
Is that your
I
stage
don't
name
know
now?
why.
You don't know why?
No,
All right.
I just picked it.
So that's when it started.
That's
AOL
when it started,
days.
and it started off with creating websites on GeoCities and AngelFire and stuff like that. When you can make MySpace profiles and HTML and all that type of stuff.
Yeah. I remember it
And-
was so hard to customize MySpace pages, man.
Oh yeah.
I had,
know,
like,
and
music
that's-
for a while.
Yeah, I mean that's basically where it started.
Yeah.
And and then I went on a hiatus for a couple years, and I remember I was down in Boca, and I just left a job. I was working at a diabetic supply company doing sales, and I
Chris,
was
didn't
like,
you work there too?
RX Helper.
No.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I worked there at RX Helper, not that place.
I know those guys. And I was leaving this company, and I remember thinking to myself, like, I can't do this for the rest of my life. And ironically, I mean, seconds after I was pulling out of the parking lot, a bus had gone by, and it said, big letters all wrapped around the bus was, "Are you interested in graphic design?"
Oh, that's awesome.
I took a photo, and that was in
What kind of phone did you have at that point? BlackBerry?
probably a BlackBerry.
Ooh.
Yeah.
They're
What was
coming
it, like
back.
2010
I think it was
or
like
something?
2010, 2011, something like that.
Yeah.
And I took a photo of it, and when I went to go apply, I went to the website, went through the process of doing admissions, and ironically, 3 years prior, when I was in Atlanta, I already applied, so they already had my transcripts on
that's
It was
file.
an ad for a school, not a job.
Yeah, school.
Gotcha.
And
That's awesome.
I applied, and I was in school within 3 weeks.
At FAU?
No, there's a school in Boca that's actually no longer there. It got acquired by Lynn University. It's Digital Media Arts College.
So it's like a not a trade school, but
Not a trade
specific
school.
to what
Yeah,
you specialize in.
Yeah, so I went to school for graphic design. I changed my focus halfway in through, for graphic design and marketing and advertising. But the whole time I was there, I really focused on web. That's what I loved to do. I knew that's where the industry was going. Print media is not dying, but it's dying.
Not
it's
dead, but dying.
Yeah, it's heading out. And
Dude, anytime somebody sends me shit in the mail, I just immediately throw it away.
direct mail sucks.
It's like, yeah, and like it's just so like it's just garbage. Like just send me an email so I could just fucking erase that too.
What year was that you went to school?
I went to school, I want to say 2011 to
Okay.
2000. I graduated in three and a half years, something like that. And
So just 3.5 years straight of graphic design,
Yeah, so there
advertising,
was some-
web design learning.
yeah, there were some core classes, but
Yeah.
majority of it was, Photoshop,
You have bachelor's?
InDesign. Yeah, I got a bachelor's in fine arts
Tight.
and graphic in advertising, and Photoshop, InDesign, Adobe Illustrator,
Yeah.
After Effects.
Yeah.
Working with some some different programs, and D Squared Media actually came into fruition as the final project of my senior year in college.
Oh shit.
And it was my final project. It was to create a portfolio that would be an agency. And when I started D Squared, it was I did no real research on my name, and I just started it. And I remember my first website, I had to do business cards. And when I was in college, it was February of 2012 when I started my business. So that was 3 months before I graduated. And opened up my first office in Delray. And it was
So
about
hold
the
up a
size-
second. You didn't even get a job out of school. You just straight up
I got
booted
one-
up your own company and you said, let's fucking go.
I had one job as a graphic designer working for a small publication, and then I left there. I got one real life job working at an agency down in Fort Lauderdale. I lasted there for literally 24 hours, and I left.
Why?
Yeah.
What happened?
I couldn't do the drive. It was off
okay,
it was
yeah.
like 45 minutes away, and I couldn't do it. And I started D Squared. My office was a little bigger than this,
Yeah, I remember. I've
Yeah.
been there.
and it all kind of started from there.
That's awesome. And how long after you graduated from school did you open up the office?
I was in college.
Oh, you were still in when you opened
Yeah.
up the office.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you just started it.
Yeah, so
Chris,
I
we're sitting with a real life,
Yeah,
real deal
man.
entrepreneur in the house, dude. In the flesh, dude.
Damn.
So I started. When I started, I brought on interns to help me figure out my design process.
From the school?
Yeah, from school.
Oh, awesome.
Which is
And,
free help or
Yeah.
cheap
Free
help?
help to start.
Yeah.
I brought on one sales rep at the time that basically handled my books, my
Yeah.
accounting, my sales, my everything. And we started my first week having the business open. We were profitable.
Wow.
I had one. There's a
Was that due to your sales guy or you or
very low overhead. So there's an individual that I follow. He's from a local marketing agency in Delray at the time, and he told me, he said, as long as you keep your expenses as low as you possibly can, you'll be all right.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what that meant at the time. I just kind of went with it.
If you don't mind me asking, what was your rent at that office?
It was about $320 a month.
Damn.
What? For that space?
Yeah, that was
It was
200,
small though, right?
200 square foot. It was it was
Yeah,
supposed to
it was like this. It was a little bit bigger than this room, like literally.
it was meant
maybe
Where
like
was
two
it,
of these
though? Like,
rooms put together.
Where?
It was in Delray.
On
It was
Federal Highway.
at
in
Federal,
like a shopping plaza.
yeah, near Pier 1 on Federal.
Yeah.
And I went in there. It was meant
$320. God damn.
Yeah,
nothing.
that's cheap.
It was nothing. And all my office furniture I bought off a guy in Delray who was closing on an office. So I got all my stuff, everything for maybe $150.
Yeah.
And I started off, so
Yeah.
my whole
That's such a
office
fucking
investment
awesome way to
was
do it.
maybe $2,500. And there's things that business owners, I shouldn't business owners, new business people starting up businesses. I didn't know I needed certain things. You need business insurance. I didn't know about that. I thought just you open up an office, then you're good to go. That's not how it works. There's things you have to get business licenses. Depending on the county you're on, you might need 2 of them. I just renewed mine for West Palm. I have one for Palm Beach County and one for West Palm, or one for Palm Beach County, one for West Palm. And I didn't even realize that I needed these things. And when I started, first week open, we were profitable. Second week, we were profitable. It usually takes companies, they say 2 to 3 years before they become profitable. There's no way I would survive if that was the case. It was either, I got to do this right then and now. It started off really small. I was making, my first 2 years of having my business, I was working 90-hour weeks, making sometimes only $250, $300 a week, but I was making money. And It was a start in the right direction. Granted, I was still in college. And then I realized that in order for me to be successful, I have to leave work at work. And when I come home, it's really shutting off work and not working when I was at home. And that's basically what I was doing for so long. Granted, I think new business owners, you kind of have to do that. But it was really I was losing my sanity. Working 90-hour weeks, and then as time progressed, I started realizing that I don't have to work like that. I still work probably 50, 60-hour weeks, 35 at the office, the rest at home, whether it is answering email at 10 o'clock at night or checking my emails or writing an email or something. I'm working. But as a business owner, I think that's kind of expected for most entrepreneurs. That said, I know for me, there has to be some type of balance, just like everything else in my life.
I was listening to another podcast that I listened to, and they were talking about how like, the whole like new age entrepreneur, and they were talking about how like the hustle grind, never stop working, Lamborghinis and pools and all that, fake shit. And they're like, it's just like, it's a lie. Like it's, and these guys are smart, educated people, and they were talking about how, like the same thing, like there's a balance, and like, you work smarter, not harder. You know, like you don't need to work, 14 hours a day. You could get the same thing done in 8 if you're focused and you're not fucking around on your phone or, whatever you're doing.
We all have, like, anybody in any job, they have what I call like a burnout.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you go and go and go, and at like 3, 4, 5 o'clock, you start getting the yawns. You're not focused. I leave. After that point, after I've hit that point, I'm useless. Yeah. It's not. I'm not serving any type of value being at the business that long. I get irritated. Yeah. People call me. I get frustrated, and my employees don't like me. It's just easier for me to just withdraw myself, go home, go to the gym, whatever I got to do, leave the office, because it's just at that point, like there's no more creative process that's going on.
That's a luxury that I feel like that many people don't have, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have to.
Yeah. I hit that wall every day, and then I have to like sit
stay
through
for
another
6 more hours.
6 hours, and I'm like,
yeah. But like that's a good goal to have, to get to a point where you can, when you hit that wall, you can say, look, I'm checking out.
Yeah. And sometimes it might be at 11 o'clock in the afternoon, and and what I've always told all my employees is, you can do whatever you want through your 40-hour work week, as long as you finish all your work.
Oh, so they can like leave early.
You can do whatever you want.
That's
you can
cool.
do whatever you want. You can.
It's a
find
good culture.
Yeah.
You can find work on the side. I don't care, as long as work gets done.
Damn, you let them work on the side?
Oh yeah.
In the same field?
If you want to.
Woo!
Don't take my clients.
Yeah.
But I it's a learning experience. I think it's something I've always told every single employee who enters my door is, know your value. Mm-hmm. People struggle their entire lives trying to figure out what their value is, and what are you willing to work for? What are you willing to provide somebody, and then what type of compensation do you deserve? Not many people can answer that question. I know I'm good at what I do. I'm not cocky about it, but I know I'm good, and I deserve what I get. And that being said, like, it took me a long time to realize that. Like, I remember there was a girl who worked for me a couple years ago, and I asked her, I was like, what's your worth? She was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
You asked her, what is it worth?
No, what is her worth?
Oh, as in a job interview?
Yeah. And she was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, what are you willing to work for? And she said, I'll do anything. I'll work for $10 an hour to get my foot in the door. And
what did you think when she said that?
That she's not a hustler.
Yeah. She didn't feel like that she was worth.
Yeah. She's not confident enough that she thinks she deserves something.
So the prime answer is like someone saying like, I'm $100 an hour type of guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because I want someone to be positive and have the hustle inside of them to know that they can do more.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't care what industry it is. It could be landscaping. It could be, owning a t-shirt company. It could be working in a phone room. It doesn't matter what it is, but like knowing what your worth is and how much you deserve to be paid is important. And it's not just knowing what what your worth is in an atmosphere like I have A, B, C, and D bills. Like it's like, what do I deserve?
Yeah, it's different than that. How long did it take you to get to a point where you in your head could say, hey, look, this is what my time is worth, X amount of time, X amount of money? I mean, like,
it took me about 5 years.
Yeah. I was just going to say the same thing. Like, I mean, it's similar to like the recovery process in a weird way. Cause like they say, it takes you like 5 years to get your head out of your ass, once you stop fucking around, and like as developing my, forwarding with my recovery and forwarding with my career and my self-development, like, at that 5-year mark, just, a year or two ago, you get to the point where it's like, dude, like, I won't even do that if it's not, like, I just like I won't do it.
Yeah.
If it's not worth my time and money,
Yeah. And it's knowing your worth. It's there's a deeper value of that. It's like knowing what you're good at and what you're not, knowing your strengths and your weaknesses. Because a lot of people will take on work in my field and any other field in the country is doing something that they don't love to do, and there's always someone better at what you do. So giving those other people an opportunity to do the work that you don't want to do lifts you up and also lifts them up.
Yeah.
So what are things in your field that you like, that light you up, that you love to do? And then like, what are some things that if someone comes to you and there's like, I need this done, like, what do you tell, like, what is it that you don't like to do?
I really like working directly, what we call is user interface and user experience design. It's UI UX design. Basically what that is designing either a prototype, a mobile app, a website design, whatever it is, from nothing to something. I go in and let's say we're talking about a rebrand of a yacht company. They have an old, outdated 1990 website. They have awful photography. They have awful content. They don't know what their messaging is. They don't know who they are, but they've been around for 20 years, so they have the experience. Basically, what I do is I get in one-on-one with the client and I try to figure out, like, I give them homework. So I basically, what my first question is find 3 websites you like that you like. It doesn't have to be anything related to your field. It could be completely opposite. Just tell me what you like about each site. It gets the creative process kind of going for them. And then I ask for competitors, like, who are your competitors, so I can see what is out there. The next question I ask is, are you going to be using this website to perform any type of marketing campaign, whether it be paid advertising with Yelp or Google or Facebook or Instagram? What is the purpose? Why? I mean, are you doing any type of paid marketing? Because that's important to know. The next question I ask is, like, is there any type of special functionality that I'm going to need to know that you're going to want on the website? Whether you're going to be selling products, are you going to be booking, do you need to be able to book individual tours? Are you going to sell merchandise? Are you going to be collecting email newsletters or email subscribers? All these different questions. So it kind of gets the process kind of going. Once I have all that information down, I go to the drawing board. I start off with pen and paper and I basically draw it out. I draw and it's scribble. And that's all it is basically logo is going to go in the top corner, navigation, big image, what kind of imagery and typography.
So you physically draw this out with pen and paper.
Yep. And it's scribble. Yeah. And it's just basically, for me, it's a starting point.
Why is that called user interface?
User interface is basically how a user is interacting with individual design. The experience is how easy or hard it is to flow throughout the website and to make it to the point where you want them to go.
Right. Yeah. Like I like the yacht company, they want to book rentals or whatever. So like that's like your prime concern is getting someone to the website, booking a reservation. Yeah, all so that, like, from start to finish.
In that regard. So there was a company I worked with in Delray. It's a yacht. They do like charters. So what I knew they wanted to do is have the ability to show all their available yachts on the website pretty much immediately. What they did not want is a way to be able to book it, because their system was not built on the fact that they could take online bookings. So much of their business is through phone calls and stuff like that. They didn't have a system that could be antiquated for the booking system online and their stuff on, I think it was all pen and paper.
They were probably losing out on business.
Yes.
Massive.
So basically what we did was I created the homepage, and there's a calendar on the homepage, and it shows every day that they have a thing, and you can see, and then you can email them. But it basically says, like, look, if you are interested in a reservation, please call us, because that's how they did their stuff.
But someone can look at the website, see the availability right there, and know if, hey, look, this is the date I'm coming to town. Yeah.
Book a charter.
Yeah.
Interesting. So if someone comes to you with an outdated website and good clientele and good experience in business, and they're just looking to revamp their process, you're like, you light up.
That's right up my alley. The stuff that I don't love, it's weird to say it out loud, like, is I'm not a fan of paid marketing, Google pay-per-click, Facebook advertising.
Because there's really no creative part of that.
It's about the data, which I love. I can read data very well. I can understand why our users leaving on certain pages, where they're coming in, where they're leaving, how long they're staying, stuff like that. I can read that data, give you great feedback, and give you a good, an audit of a website. A couple months back, I was working for a company, huge e-commerce store, and they came to me because their sales were down, and it was basically what they wanted was for me to do an audit of their website and give honest feedback of an outsider basically looking in. I have no affiliation with this company. I have, they basically just wanted honest feedback.
Yeah.
I gave it to them. They really didn't want to hear it after I first.
So you're looking at like views and.
So I look at a few different things. So what I do is I get into Google Analytics, what allows me to see how much traffic has come to the site in an X amount of period of time. I like looking at like 3, 6, 9 months to give me, good amount of data.
Can anyone see that?
Yeah. So
Really?
anybody, So if you have Google Analytics on your site, you can basically see all that.
All right.
Once I
It's
have
the internet,
that,
bro. You can see everything.
Dude, I don't know about this life.
So once I see that, I can see basic things. I can see that the person is coming in at the homepage, they're going to a shop page, and they're leaving. So that tells me that and I look at 6 months of data. So let's say you have a 60% what they call bounce rate. A 60% bounce rate
Once they
that's
hit
okay.
the shop,
If
take
it's
off.
starting to go 60, 70, 80%, I'm starting to look, there's something wrong. Why are people struggling on this? And then I start to look at, is this on desktop or is this on mobile?
Oh, okay.
And 9 times out of 10, it's almost cookie cutter every single time. You go on and you go through the process and you start checking out and you start going through the process as just a consumer. You're like, wow, this is confusing. You got it.
Yeah.
So now it's trying to figure out, how do you backpedal and how do you explain to them, like, this is a confusing process to someone that this is what they do,
Right.
and this is how they've been doing their business for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
So that's where I basically come in. I like doing the data side of it, the paid marketing, the paid search. I don't love it.
Facebook doesn't show you all that data?
It does. So Facebook, all the companies do the data. I just don't like doing the physical paid analytical.
Yeah, because that's like literally with what we're doing right now, me and Abel, that's where we're starting is Facebook ads. Facebook, Instagram, that's like, I know there's like Google AdWords, there's, you can do YouTube, Snapchat, you can do a lot of stuff, but that's where we're that's where we're starting out is with that.
And there's
Have you had any sales from? I know you said you had a couple sales.
No, we have a couple of sales, but not from Facebook ads. But we just started it literally maybe like 10 hours ago, and
Cool.
we started with $5. So it does show us, like how many people we reached, how many people clicked. But then there's not, unless I'm reading it wrong, there's nothing much after that, like where they left.
So not on that. So you can see it on Facebook side of gender, age,
Yeah.
location.
But you just can't
You can drill it down a lot. The next step would be is once they actually clicked on ad to come to the website, you can see that, let's say 20 people of the $5 budget came to the website. If you have Google Analytics, you'll be able to see that what's it called? It's almost like the route. The terminology is not coming to me, but like I can see Facebook.
Oh,
I basically
yeah,
I can look
yeah.
at Facebook's thing. It's almost like a chart, and I can see
Yeah.
that Facebook is coming in at. Typically, what I see with Facebook ads that are not set up right is almost a 90 or 80 to 100% bounce rate, which means they're coming to the website and leaving.
Oh, right
instantly.
away.
That tells me my Facebook ads aren't working.
Oh, okay.
But let's say they are going through the process. The other thing you could do is for people that are running ads, it's really important to know who your customers are. There's a company out there that's called I think it's called LuckyOrange.com. It's a heat tracking software. It's like $10 a month. You put it on your site and you can actually see where your visitors are coming and where they're going, and you could see everything. So it's a heat map. So you put it on. It says it will probably say like user from Boynton Beach is coming on the website, and you can see that user is on the website, where they're going, where their cursor is actually going on the website. So it's actually showing where the user's reading. And it shows like the heat points. So it's very much like a heat radar. So the logo is usually the red part because that's where everyone starts, and then you almost it's almost like scientifically people read in the Z. So they go down the page.
Oh, yeah.
You go to the navigation, you go down the what I call the hero bar, the slider, and then you start reading the content. If you're going, what happens a lot in my industry is you read it, you scroll. They're missing what people think is the important parts of the website, which was all my clients do. Put everything at the top, make the logo big. What people don't realize is you're scrolling as soon as they think. You're looking for exactly one thing that you came to the website for. Mm-hmm. So if it's not there immediately, you lost them.
Yeah.
And in return, what it ends up happening is if your bounce rate's high, people are not staying on your site for very long. If you're doing any type of SEO marketing, which I really thrive in, is you're losing them.
Yeah.
So they're not staying on your site. So the experience that the user is getting is not great, which in return, why is Google going to promote a website that they don't even, your users are essentially not staying on?
Yeah, so that's cool, the heat tracking software. I never knew that stuff like that.
Creepy.
So basically, you see, they go to the top, they go to the bottom, then they leave, and they go to Pornhub. That's basically what happens.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, that's cool though. I didn't even know. So you can just download Google Analytics. And
So
then
it's
you,
a code. So you go
it.
to GoogleAnalytics.com or whatever it is. You sign up on your account. They'll give you like a little HTML code. You pop that in the top of your website. It takes about 24 hours to populate. And once the data is starting to come in, you'll start to see people live on the website. So let's say Andrew and Jesse comes on and they go on the website right away. They can basically see. You could say, it will say 2 live visitors.
Yeah,
and you can start to track what they're doing and what they're going on their website.
Well, see, Shopify, because I have Shopify, that's what we're using. They actually have that something similar where it shows live visitors. You can click and it shows the map of the U.S. and it'll actually show
Pinpoint where they're
on the map. But it doesn't, unless I may need to do more research because I don't see like where they're leaving or what they're doing on the website.
Analytics.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
basically
you're not
what
going
you
to get
got.
that from Shopify.
probably not, right?
No.
No.
Something different. Okay, so how, now we know, the UI and all that stuff is where you love to shine, and then the numbers and the data and crunching and stuff is
really
kinda,
it's really like the paid advertising.
Yeah,
I
paid
like
advertising.
the data because the data gives me the
not
information
really
I need
doesn't
to
really
know.
light the fire.
No,
doesn't
that's
light the
not
fire.
really my
So how has working on that stuff, so knowing your worth, knowing what makes you shine and what really kind of creatively sets you on fire, and how has that helped you excel your business to the next level? And I want to know how all of that has helped your personal life.
So what I found out over the years, when I first started my business, I did anything that came through my door.
Yeah.
And if I didn't know it, I was going to learn it. I remember it was in my Delray office, my first office I had, and a guy called me up and he was like, "Do you do car wraps?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." I don't do car wraps. But he was like, "How about removing car wraps?" We're like, "Yeah, just bring it in." So he brought a brand new, fully loaded Suburban outside of our office in Delray, and me and my buddy Matt at the time, we basically took off the wrap. We made $200.
All you gotta do is fucking peel it off.
Dude, that stuff is sticky.
I was going to say, I wouldn't
Yeah, a
even.
little soap and water.
Dude, it was a lot harder.
Heat
Than,
gun?
it
Yeah,
was a lot. Yeah, it was a lot harder than expected.
Yeah, but I can imagine. I mean, you're a web design guy.
Yeah, I'm not peeling off this crap. And we did it. But basically, what I'm trying to get at is we did everything.
Yeah.
So we were printing stuff for lanyards for conventions, doing backdrops for trade shows. We were trying to do designing for mobile apps. We were trying to do paid advertising with Google. We were trying to do Facebook marketing. We were trying to do it all.
Yeah.
And I realized I really don't like doing any of this stuff. I was like, I'm doing this to really just bring revenue in the door
Right.
because I was scared of losing clients. I thought if a client came to me and they knew I didn't do something that I was going to lose them.
Yeah.
And I basically started offering all these services just because I didn't want, I needed to hold on. And what I realized is I didn't have to be the garbage can of marketing agencies. I got to stick to what I'm good at. I'm good at branding. I'm good at taking a company, figuring out where the lack is in the design, whether it's the logo, the business cards, the print material, whatever you have, taking the website, designing to make it work, and then basically how to get you on Google, start getting the rankings, and then basically formulate some type of social presence and make you found online. That's the core of what I do.
Yeah.
Everything else, I source now. I don't.
Yeah.
When people call me like, oh, I need every year there's a big conference and everyone calls me for like lanyards and postcards and water bottles and shirts.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Vistaprint.
I recommend companies. I tell them to go to 4imprint, and I'm like, go there. I have no margin. There's no margins in it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't feel ethical charging you $20 over something that you can go find online by a simple Google search. And in terms of like how it affects and how it's basically benefited my social life in my life is it's allowed me to have the freedom.
Yeah.
You know, when I started, I didn't do this. I mean, everyone starts their own business for the money, but I didn't. That's not. I loved what I did. Essentially, over time, what it allowed me to do is I don't have to worry about a paycheck. I don't have to worry that I'm never going to make ends meet. The way that I've structured my business is, and I think everyone should try to figure out how to do this, is recurring revenue. You got to figure out something that's going to bring the money in every month.
Yeah.
On cue, where you don't have to be, because everyone's going to have down months. It's with any industry. Everyone's business goes like in waves, and essentially what's going to happen when you bottom out a couple months in a row and you have no revenue. You know, when you have employees and expenses and, you know, employees and expenses, I mean, you total that stuff up. That's basic numbers. It's between $20,000 and $30,000 a month of expenses. So can I cover at least that?
Yeah.
And if I can't cover at least that, then I'm in deep shit. You know, because that's when the paranoia, the sleepless nights, restless dreams, and I've had those patches in the career where I didn't think I was going to be able to make ends meet, and that's financial issues, financial instability. I don't think anybody can deal with that.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody is ever ready for that. I don't think anybody's ever prepared for it. It's the scariest thing to ever go through. You start jeopardizing your morals. You start thinking crazy. You can't think straight. And
thinking about robbing banks.
Yeah, I mean, you think that, basically what happens when I start feeling like that is I start to revert back to what I did when I first started the business. I'll start taking on anything.
Yeah.
And start to realize like, and I regret it almost instantly because it's like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
And I'm not good at it. Like there's people that are better than I am.
Yeah.
Have you done anything like that recently?
What?
Taking on jobs you don't want to do?
Recently, no.
You probably get to a point where it's like you just say no, like as like it's just like
a lot of times what I'll do
no.
is clients will come to me. I'll have first time meetings, and right off the bat, I'll know if that client's a good fit for us.
Yeah. You get good at reading
sometimes
them.
it's masked. Sometimes you don't know.
Yeah. Sometimes they're.
But I have a very good read on it. And when I don't, my project manager does, and she's like, no, you're not working on that, because essentially what happens is, once the deal is closed and I'm dealing with the creative process, that deal gets pushed to her.
Right.
And if she can't deal with him or her, it comes back on me, and I'm like, oh, fuck, I don't want to do this.
Yeah. So you deal with people a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Personalities, people,
Right.
emotion, because you got to think that most people are starting a business.
You think like, oh, web design. You just tell them I want to build a website. You build a website, but it's probably more than that. It's more. Yeah, exactly.
You got to think about like when you're
Kind of
starting
like a
business,
restaurant.
Yeah.
You're serving a person or a customer.
You got to think that like when you're starting a business, the first thing you want to do is have some type of presence. So you want a logo. So there's an emotion that's attached to this.
Yeah.
And if the business owner that's coming to me for the very first time, if we don't hit it on the very first time, there is an emotional disconnect with us and them. And it can pretty much affect the whole rest of our relationship.
Yeah.
We might not be the right fit for the client, but when it is right, it kind of lights the fire, and you can kind of see it in their eyes, and that's when basically, it
was like that with the podcast when we had this guy do the logo. He did a logo for $100, right? And when we got it, we were just like, dude, and still today, like I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, me too.
It has like the and show, or in like a cursive, and then
Yeah.
like there's like a rope, and
Yeah.
there's like a brick wall behind it, and there's a little sparkle, and it's like everything that we.
Yeah,
you know.
he did. I think every day he did it in like wood. It looks like
yeah, like
wood.
wood with nails.
And then the hustle in gold, so it looks
Yeah.
like gold. So it was like,
So
but
I
that's what you're talking about. Like you,
Yeah.
you see it, and it almost like as a customer, like you said, you build that trust, and you see like they're bringing your vision to life, and you want to keep going.
So I had a meeting on Friday. A couple came in, and they had been burned by 2 different web design companies prior to coming to me. And they're at the point where they haven't even received a product.
Oh,
so they've
shit.
paid whatever the deposit was for 2 different projects. And she's a clothing company, and she's based out of Miami. And it pisses me off.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
They're coming in sour, already thinking that they're going to get burned again.
That doesn't piss me off because I get that.
Yeah.
Pisses me off that there's companies out there that are willing to do and perform. I'm not about that.
Well, yeah, I mean, we could circle back to what you just said. You said financial insecurities make you sacrifice your morals.
Yeah.
So those companies probably were in
Yeah.
a similar situation.
You know, and this woman that came to me, and she was like, and then I put together, an agreement, and my thing, and I just got an email right before I got to this over to here, and she basically said to me, she was like, can you sign something that basically promises me that I'm going to have a website? And I'm like, of course, like that's a no-brainer. But like the thing is, it's like the fact that like she has been her first
burned so many times to get to the point of having to have a contract.
To say that. And that's scary, man, because there's companies out there that are they're not so great, and it's in every industry, but I see it a lot. You know, probably 80% of my clients come to me and they've been burned.
Shit, I mean, web design is probably so fucking easy to rip people off. People call you, put an ad up, and they, half down, and then we'll get started, and you never meet the people, you take the money, and then they fucking run away.
Yeah. And that's why a lot of times is I almost will not do work with a company if I have not met them.
In person?
In person, or a Skype call, or even in
some kind of face-to-face?
And I try to. Sometimes it's not always possible because we're across the country, but some type of face-to-face where I can talk to the person, because it's a two-way street.
Mm-hmm.
The client might be great first, but like I might have a completely different read on them, and I need to know that first up, because I don't want to be involved in something that I don't feel comfortable doing. Because there's industries that I don't deal with. I've had people come to me that are in the adult industry. I don't like dealing in that industry. I just don't want to be affiliated with that.
You never built any live webcam websites?
No.
Shit. Christian,
Cam girls?
can't get a free membership, dude.
Damn.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, you got to be selective, and I've kind of did the same thing, because when I got laid off from my job at the beginning of this year, I branded LLC Nice Designs as, design, photo, video, and like I've been like over the past like 6 months, all I want to do is video, and like it's so fun to me, and I love it, and I've been having a great time with it, and like I'm not really good at design stuff. Web design, any design, like I'm just, like I don't, sitting in WordPress for hours, it doesn't light me up, and it doesn't allow me to, like, when I'm in a video, like, and I'm in Premiere and I'm focused on a video, like I'm fucking
you escape
in there, dude.
You're gone for a
so
couple hours,
dope too. And I like and I feel like I never would have found that if shit didn't happen the way that it did this year with getting laid off from my job. And God, love you, God, doing for me what I couldn't do for myself, you know, and fucking awesome.
But I think that willingness too is like huge, because like taking the initiative to do something, like when you saw the sign on the bus, like you didn't have to, or even if you were like, oh damn, let me take a picture, like this, you could have still been like like hundreds of thousands of other people and just like forgot about it or didn't follow up.
Just fucking stared
just
into the fucking oblivion.
And because you did that, you ended up.
Yeah, I think everything happens for a reason, and that's why I go back to like everyone has something they're good at, and once you know your worth and you're able to do that, you can be able to take that risk and do it yourself. Like I tell everyone, try it.
Right, 100%.
What's the worst what's gonna happen? Ain't gonna work. What, you might come out pocket a couple $1,000, but on the upside, I mean, the possibilities are endless.
Right.
I've seen so many people start businesses and become wildly successful, and most of them do. Most people become successful that I know.
Yeah.
There's people that have terrible business plans, and they're going the wrong path. The biggest advice I give all business owners is keep your expenses low. It's as long as your expenses are low, you're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Because as long as you can afford your business, it's just like getting a house. If you can't afford a $2,000 apartment, don't get a $2,000 apartment.
Yeah.
Clear as day.
Yeah. I mean, we had that conversation, we're getting close to signing for the juice bar now. We had that conversation, I was about to renovate an empty shell space that was going to cost $30,000 just to get in the door. And I found something to get us in the door for 1/30th of that price.
Yeah.
So, and that only happened by being patient and running ideas past people and taking advice from people who were successful before me. And,
That's
now we're
huge.
getting real close to signing this deal. And, the expenses are going to be low to start, which is awesome, and I could just, and I'm going to be at that phase where I'm working those, 70, 80 hour weeks. And like, the God's honest truth is I couldn't be more excited.
Yeah.
Because
it's like your baby, it's like that's your.
I'm
But
about
I
to
think
build
that'd be
something.
hard too, because to be like, if I had my own, like your situation, I would probably find it hard to go home. Like just being, I would want to like.
Because you could do that work from home. Is that what you mean?
Well, actually, no, that's probably true. I mean, like putting it away. So like when you were saying going
It's almost
home
like
and you leave
I think there's a 2-part question here. It's, having so much, being so passionate about what you do for so many hours a day.
Yeah.
That thing. But the other part is like delegating roles.
Right.
Because there's going to be a time where Andrew can't work 80-hour weeks. And he's going to have to give that to someone and confide in trust to be able to run his business the way that Andrew wants to work it. That is hard because you have expectations that no employee will ever reach. It doesn't matter how much they're good at their job. An employee will always be an employee.
Because it's not their baby.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when I first hired my first person to basically do what I basically needed a duplicate of what I did, and I knew that was hard to find, and I wasn't willing to pay for that. So I needed to basically mold what I needed for that individual to be satisfactory for what I needed. And in order for me to do that, I had to give some roles up that I was really uncomfortable giving. But doing so, it opened up doors because of what I realized is, wow, I don't have to be so involved, and we're still making as much money we were making and more, because I'm able to focus on what I'm good at, and they're able to focus at what they're good at, and now you have a foundation of a business. A business is having multiple people be able to do what you do and love it as much as you do, but having the core foundation of like, I think a small business needs the owner there for the first couple of years all the time, or the business is going to become...
You're not the first person who said that to me, so it's kind of just like standard.
Yeah, it's big.
What do you think, Jess?
I think Danny's fucking
killing it.
got a lot of valuables information, dude.
Yeah.
I'm just soaking it in right now.
Yeah, I'm just being a sponge over here. All right, tight. I think we'll wrap it up there because we're ticking over to the hour mark, and I just feel like there was just so many takeaways that people could
100%.
Take in there. Take the takeaways. Take away from the podcast and apply it into your life, because that's what it's all about. All right, so if you guys want to reach Danny, you can hit him up, dsquaredmedia.net. Email Danny at dsquaredmedia.net for any of your creative design, graphic design, UI AX. Learned that term. UI UX.
Almost.
Don't hit him up if you need
Cars wrapped and
car wraps removed. None of that stuff.
You can hit me up.
You can hit Christian up. He pretty much does. He's at the point where he'll do anything for money. So,
jeopardize morals.
100%.
Never mind.
all right, so that concludes the 33rd
Was it?
recorded episode. 33 recorded
Holy
episodes.
shit.
Thank you all for listening. Remember, if you want to grab some merch to support the podcast, andrewnice.com/shop, andrew.com/shop. You'll be able to grab a t-shirt, a hat, a mug, something just to show a little bit of support if you're about the cause. And remember to leave us a rating on iTunes if you can. Don't give it a 5-star if you don't think it deserves it. I actually checked out the reviews. Not a lot of people write something, but a lot of people actually click on the star. We got like 25, 26, something like that.
Awesome.
Really?
Little 5-star boys.
No
That's
way.
what
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, keep pushing forward, Jess. People are loving what you're doing. Yeah, leave a rating and appreciate everything, guys, and we'll see you next week.